Hello everybody, it's again Slayer here. Today we are reacting to share my story because I did make the videos of it because I really made the videos of it because I watched 2 videos on my own. So we're gonna watch like 3 more videos because I don't know what to do, but I don't know what to do for my own. But okay, I don't even care. But this video we're gonna be reacting to is my skin made of glass. I think she's like glass and make it shatter. I think let's watch it.
Hey, I'm Sarah.
Hey Sarah.
My body is extremely fragile. I once broke a finger
Ew,
playing
did hurt.
volleyball, and another time a carrot landed on my arm and his claw went right through my skin and flesh as if I was made of butter. Doctors don't have a name for my condition, but my mom couldn't afford to spend any more money on medical bills for me. Therefore, each day after school, she would lock me up in an empty room where I couldn't. But before I continue, please subscribe to share my story.
I done it.
The room only had a pillow to sit on and some books to read. Without any furniture, I couldn't hit my leg anywhere.
We're the 4 videos.
I always wore gloves to avoid cutting my
skin. Okay.
I spend most of my time looking out the window, though, to watch my sister Kiara play with her friends. I envied her so much.
Wow.
She was popular, adventurous, and an athlete.
Okay.
She even won a national tournament, something my mom was super proud of. Here, take a photo of your sister and me. While I was a loser, my sister was living her best life, and she kept rubbing it in my face. She once told me, people like you that get easily injured aren't meant to survive.
Wow.
Had you been born thousands of years ago when humans lived in the wild, you would have died young and quickly been forgotten. It's called survival of the fittest, or in your case, death of the weakest. Ironically, my sister had everything I could dream of, and yet she still resented me. She often mentioned how I had put our family into debt with my medical bills. You were a burden to everyone. Mom even told me she wants to sell you away so scientists can experiment on your freak.
Wow.
You liar! And don't call me weak. Well then, go prove yourself. How? Well, I know a cliff you can climb. I'll give you my gear, and if you make it to the top, I'll never bother you again. I imagined how impressed my mom would be if she found out I'd made it to the top of that cliff. So I agreed to the challenge, and at night we both snuck out of the house. But then we arrived there, and I got cold feet. Maybe this wasn't such a good idea. Well, I climbed it many times. It's safe.
How many?
To use your kittens. It was too late to back out, so I started climbing. It was an easy route, but also a windy night. The climb should only take an hour, but 2 hours later, I was barely halfway up and completely exhausted. Then a gust of wind threw me off and smashed me against the rock face. I broke my wrist.
Wait, so the rod just hit you?
My sister had already gone back home, which meant I hung there until the next morning when Kiara came back with Mom. Have you lost your mind? A professional helicopter had to come and rescue me, which cost a staggering $15,000. I was so ashamed to put my mom into further debt that afterward, I never did something dangerous again.
Okay.
Instead, I spent all my afternoons at a library, safe and secure. Hey, can I ask why you're wearing gloves? Because I'm a freak. I have super frail skin. It's weird. Sometimes a bunch of bad decisions and misfortune lead you to a place or situation that makes it all worth it. The boy's name was Fred, and he was a legit genius.
Wow.
School was so easy for him that his teachers allowed him to only show up for exams. That way, he could spend most of his time studying much more advanced topics by himself. We fell in love and have been dating now for 5 years.
Wow, 5 years. That's cool.
When Fred was 17, he even published the software tool for businesses that even today, 8 years later, makes us 20,000 US.
Jeez.
No work required whatsoever.
Okay.
It's completely passive income, and it allows us now to travel the world completely stress-free. Fred is super kind and also always makes sure I don't injure myself. I guess that dating a nerd isn't the worst thing. So please never lose hope. Life can always change in an instant. If you liked my story, go subscribe to share my story and leave a like on this video.
Good for that girl. She has a boyfriend now. Finally. She always got that instinct she always get. Because her sister always wanted to be mean to her. She just want to be mean to her. I don't understand why she's doing that to her. Like, why would you do it? Okay, we're not going to watch these two because I already watched it myself and I watched that one myself. So, let's watch I Took a Revenge on My Ex by Getting a Hired Girlfriend. So let's watch that. This one, don't worry, it's just 2 ads anyway.
Only $5.49 for this washing machine.
Where's
Small
worse
body,
than
but big power.
see that one. Okay, I think it's messing up. Just give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Let me fix it a little bit.
And I've been best friends with Marcus since middle school.
Okay. Let me fix it. Okay, I think I fixed it up, so let's be watching this.
Hey, my name is Jordan, and I've been best friends with Marcus
Okay.
since middle school.
Nice.
We are very different, but that's why we get along so well.
Wow.
I tend to keep to myself and don't talk much,
Oh.
while Marcus is funny, charming, and a huge extrovert.
Oh.
About a year ago, I met my girlfriend, Angela, at a computer club.
Oh.
I really liked her, and I couldn't believe it when she agreed to go on a date with me. It wasn't long before we were getting steady, and I couldn't have been happier. But there was one problem.
What?
Whenever my best friend Marcus hung out with us, my girlfriend Angela wouldn't stop flirting with him. She acted as if he was some kind of god, and I hated it. I mean, I know I'm not as funny as Marcus, but seeing my girlfriend always laugh at his jokes made me feel very insecure.
Mm.
And when the three of us were together, they talked to each other all the time while I stayed quiet.
That's
It
me.
was so awkward.
That's typically
What
me.
made it worse was that Angela kept asking me to invite Marcus over.
Wow.
It made me feel like she only dated me to get closer to him.
Wow.
That's why I came up with a plan to take revenge and
Jeez.
show Angela how I felt. My sister, Julia, has a friend,
Mhm.
Rachel, who's a model. I asked my sister if Rachel would be interested in earning $50 to hang out with me and my girlfriend, Angela.
That would be me.
I figured that if Rachel flirted with me the way Angela did with Marcus, she'd understand why I didn't want him hanging around with us. My sister and Rachel loved the idea, so I invited Angela to have a board game night with them, and she agreed. Once we had a game out, I made my first joke and said, "Ugh, this board game is more complicated than the math tests." Rachel started to laugh so hard, she almost fell off her chair. She said, "You're right. You're so funny, Jordan." My girlfriend Angela wasn't laughing though.
Damn.
She already looked annoyed, which meant that my plan was working.
Oh.
After a bit, I said, "This game's alright, but why don't we play beer pong?" Then Rachel said, "That would be so much fun. I bet you're amazing at it." And then she fluttered her eyelashes at me, doing this cute little giggle. To be honest, Rachel was almost doing too good a job.
My girlfriend never does
I
this.
felt a little uncomfortable.
My girlfriend never does this at all. Wow, she's mad now.
After a while, my girlfriend Angela asked if she could talk to me in private. When we were alone, she got really angry and said, "Stop flirting with her. She's all over you. She's laughing at everything you say, even though it's not funny. It's pathetic. You need to tell her to leave." I loved seeing Angela all jealous. Now she knew how it felt to worry about losing me. I asked her, "So how come you can laugh every time my friend Marcus opens his mouth, but the second a girl seems interested in me, I have to get rid of her?" Angela shook her head and said, "That's different. There's nothing going on with Marcus." Then I told her, "Well, I like it when someone enjoys my jokes, and if you don't think they're funny, you can go home." "Fine, I will," she stormed out, saying, "Forget about seeing me again. It's over between us." When I told Julia and Rachel what happened, they were really sorry. But then Rachel had an idea. "Why don't we pretend we're a couple?" she suggested. "We can put up photos of us together on Instagram. I bet it'll make Angela even more jealous." So we started a romance, and you never believe what happened. Angela came up to me at the computer club and begged me to get back with her. She even apologized for flirting with Marcus and said breaking up with me had been a huge mistake. I was tempted, but in the end, I decided to stay single. If it wasn't for Rachel pretending to be my girlfriend, I don't think Angela would have wanted me back. And once I thought about our relationship, I wondered why I'd want to be with someone who made me miserable and kept talking about how great my best friend was. Did you know she used to complain I was too short and told me to go to the gym?
Wow.
She was embarrassed by how I looked.
Damn.
Dating Angela was a mistake.
Yeah, it
But
was.
that's okay. I learned from my experience and won't date someone like her again. Some things she said made sense though. She was right.
I keep rejecting.
Social skills weren't great. So I got a part-time sales job. It
Then
forced me to learn
I might
how to
hit my-
talk to people. I feel like breaking up with Angela made me grow up.
Mm.
Anyways, Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed watching this animated story,
I did it.
please subscribe to this channel.
Thank you. You're good. Thanks. You was good at that. I did not know, but my mic just hit my fucking teeth right now. Heard it. So let's watch like 2 more videos and we can go for it. So let's watch our other video is pretend to be mute. That means like you're silent forever. So let's watch it.
A Domino's order carry out online or by phone.
Don't worry, it's on too. It's on two ads. I don't care.
Now we've got 4 times more items online.
All them look great, but I'm not fine with it.
How's that happen?
I know how.
Hey, I'm Peter.
Hi, Peter.
And I recently changed schools because my dad found a job in a different city.
Oh.
I suffer from social anxiety.
Oh, sorry.
So
I feel sorry. I feel sorry. Yeah, that's me.
But it got worse.
Right.
My new school based 50% of their grades on oral participation.
Damn.
Before, I
Really?
had always been an honor student with
Hmm.
top grades all my life.
Hmm.
I wanted to go to an elite university someday.
Hmm.
But there was no way I'd be able to talk in front of my class.
That's true.
And because
I'm
I didn't
scared.
want to become one of the bad students, I came up with a plan. On my first day at my new school, I took in a letter which read, "I'm Peter. I have mutism and several problems with my hearing." I gave it to the teacher, and after he read it, he asked, "Can you hear me?" Of course, I could hear him perfectly, but I acted like I didn't understand him.
Mm.
That's why I leaned forward so that my ear was almost touching his mouth, and when he asked again if I could hear, I nodded. Then he gestured to me to sit down right at the front. I was so nervous, my heart was almost jumping out of my chest. But it was worth it. Everyone believed I was mute and deaf.
Mm.
After that, my teachers only gave me written assignments, and I didn't have to do any PowerPoint presentations or answer questions in front of my class. But there was one problem left. My gym teacher, Mr. Gary. I could tell he didn't believe I was deaf or mute, but of course he still had to treat me respectfully, or otherwise someone could have accused him of mistreating of a retarded person or something. But one day, he crept up behind me and yelled, "Boo!" I jumped and let out a little scream. Afterward, Mr. Gary talked to me inside his office. He said he'd called up my old school and learned that I could speak in
Wow.
That's why he asked why I was faking being mute and deaf. Well, I told him everything about my social anxiety and how I didn't want to fail my classes. Luckily, Mr. Gary turned out to be really cool. He said he'd keep my secret and even told me I was one of the most badass people he knew for pulling this off. Wow, maybe he was right.
That's true.
Maybe I was badass.
Yeah.
I understand that some people would argue that I should face my fears and practice my communication skills.
That's good
I
advice.
understand that my social anxiety is so bad that there is no way on earth I would raise my arm and speak in front of my class.
True.
In this way, instead of getting an F for my oral participation, I'm only graded on my written work. And
Mm.
that's 1,000 times better
Yeah.
because it will allow me to go to Stanford or MIT someday. And pretending to be mute and deaf isn't easy either. Imagine someone makes a really funny joke in your class and you have to hold back laughter. It sucks, and it makes you feel
It does.
very isolated. Especially because I can't talk to the other kids at school, because I can't risk them telling the teachers that I'm only pretending. But there is one boy who I trusted enough to tell him my secret. You should have seen his face when I told him I could speak perfectly well. My parents know all about it too. I had to tell them because there was a parents' day at school. I couldn't risk them telling my teachers the truth. Luckily, my parents were okay about it.
Mm.
They agreed that my grades were more important than answering questions in
Right.
class. When they found out why I'd done it, they were really supportive. They didn't know about my social anxiety,
Mm.
so they signed me up for a public speaking course to help me overcome my fears. The first time I went, I broke down in tears when it was my turn to speak. It was so embarrassing. But everyone was really kind, and slowly I'm getting better at talking in front of other people. Maybe one day I'll be able to tell the truth at school, but not yet. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe.
Oh wow. I did not know you was going. Oh, that's. I do that too because I'm scared of some people in front of the school. I'm scared of that too because I've been scared. Because when I do that, I did that before. I was so scared, and I cannot want to speak anymore. I was like, oh, well, this is gonna be a bad idea. This is a bad idea. And okay, That was really onto it. So, okay, let's watch. I replaced my wife for an 18-year-old girl. Wow. Okay, that's a bad idea.
My name's Adrian.
Hey, Adrian.
I'm to tell you why I got rid of my wife of 10 years.
Wow.
And then found a new girlfriend that is much younger than her.
Wow.
It all started about 2 years ago.
2 years?
When I realized I wasn't happy in my marriage.
Hmm.
My wife always complained and criticized me. And to make things worse, she'd gained some weight and wasn't as attractive as before.
Wow.
Meanwhile, at my work, everything was going great.
Mm.
I had just received a promotion.
Wow, that's
I had
great.
an intern that was directly reporting to me.
Okay.
Her name was Joanne. She
Joanne.
was only 18 back then.
Hmm.
But we got along so well. I liked how she treated me with so much admiration, like I was someone special.
Hmm.
But when I got back home, my life turned dark again.
Hmm.
My wife told me to bring out the trash, clean
Wow.
up the bathroom, but there was no love or joy between us.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I
That's
started
right.
to obsess about Joanne and thought about her constantly, even when I was laying next to my wife in bed. I knew things needed to change, and I told my wife I wanted an open relationship. When she said no, I got so angry and I said I
Wow.
wanted a divorce because she had become a fat Grinch. I immediately regretted what I said, but the damage was already done.
Yeah.
My wife was crying. To make things worse, I'm not very good at saying sorry, so I just packed my stuff and left. Of course I felt bad afterwards. I never wanted to hurt my wife. And I wasn't sure if I had only broken up with her so I could date Joanne. Well, the next day at work, I asked Joanne out on a date. She got really excited and said, "Of course I want to go out with you." "But I thought you were married." "Yes, but I'm in the process of getting a divorce, so I'm free to do whatever I want," I responded. I can't describe how good it felt to be free again. And dating Joanne was the cherry on top of the ice cream.
Wow.
She had so much youthful energy and we were always having a good time. But meanwhile, my wife kept on contacting me, saying she wanted us to try again. It got so annoying that at one point I wrote back to her saying, "No thanks. I've already found someone new. She's in good shape and appreciates me." Wow, I can't believe I said that to my own wife. I treated the person I once loved the most like dirty trash. But what I didn't expect was what my wife did next. She somehow found out who my new girlfriend was. And when I went on a picnic with her, my wife stormed up at us screaming, "I know who she is. Your girlfriend has been sleeping around with everyone when she was in high school." Apparently, my wife got so mad about me dating an 18-year-old girl that she contacted Joanne's old high school friends to dig up dirt on her. Wow, I'd never seen my wife so mad
Wow.
before. I realized that our divorce had taken a big toll on her
Yeah.
because she looked so exhausted and old. That day hit me hard, but I was able to forget about my wife by spending time with Joanne. It was so much fun to spend time with her in the beginning, but after a few weeks, I got bored of her too, and we broke up.
Damn.
Weirdly enough, right when I left Joanne's building and crossed the street, I got hit by a car.
Oh.
It was a serious accident, and the doctors had to keep me in an artificial coma for 2 whole days.
Dang. 2
When I
days.
woke up, I saw my wife. I was too weak to say anything, but I couldn't believe anyone would still love me, even after I had caused them so much pain. The next days, laying in the hospital gave me a lot of time to think. I came to the conclusion that the reason my marriage had been a disaster wasn't my wife's fault, but my own fault. Because in our first year of being married, everything was great. We always helped each other. And I was so in love that I didn't even notice my wife had any flaws. But in our second year, I forgot our anniversary for the first time.
Oh.
And I also stopped saying I love you.
Damn.
These small things are so important. So once I could walk again, I immediately went back to my wife and asked her for forgiveness. I promised to treat her again like I did when we first met. And luckily, she accepted my apology. Today, I'm petrified of destroying my relationship again, so I'm always buying her flowers and telling her how much I love her, because I think that's what a relationship is all about.
True.
It's about giving and caring.
Right.
It's not about taking and wanting.
True.
Hey, let me know in the comments if you've ever been in a failing relationship. And was it your fault or the fault of your partner? Always. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe to this channel.
Okay. Yeah, I had the same reaction he has. I was saying I had the same reaction I have too with my girlfriend. She doesn't really understand when I say something very smart. She doesn't get what I say. When I say stuff like that, I don't say nothing. She thinks I was the one. I think I was the mean person, but I wasn't the mean person anyway, because I was a mean person anyway. So I'm going to end it right here because I like doing the reaction because I'm not done with any of the more comic games I'm done with. But I was like, join the Kirby Squad. Love you. Bye bye.